Halos with a nice victory last night, a nice little short flight to Phoenix, and today the continuation of the series. Really, it's a home and home, first of two here in Arizona at Chase Field. We welcome you inside Chase, and back to Angels baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubiza. I'm Victor Rojas, and yesterday, of course, we saw Jeremy Hellickson throwing a fantastic game. The changeup was electric, the breaking ball was good, made one big mistake to Albert Pujols, and Albert certainly did not miss it.
Yeah, Victor, after that walk to Mike Trout with 2 outs, Albert Pujols coming to play. We'll take a look at our AT Universe rewind. The one mistake, and I'll tell you what, Hellickson didn't make many mistakes that entire game, but that fastball, he knew it as soon as he released that baseball from his hand, middle part of the plate, and at that knee level, the way Albert Pujols is swinging the bat, there's a good chance it's going to go a long way. 2-run home run for Albert Pujols, giving the Halos the lead at that point, 2-1, eventually win 4-1. What he has done in his last 18 games, hitting over 360, 11 home runs with 19 RBI, and also keep in mind only 3 strikeouts, so he's making consistent contact, driving the ball extremely well, whether it's a fastball, slider, changeup, anywhere near the plate. He's hitting hard, and he's not chasing pitches out of the zone.
A lot of things we heard after the game yesterday was about Albert Pujols perhaps being an all-star in 2015. We'll see how that plays out over the next several weeks. We're going to step away for a moment. When we return, we're going to talk about the Angels' defense and the struggles they've had of late. Also had some fantastic plays. We'll do that when we come back.
Angels baseball is brought to you by CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. CarMax, start here. By Jack in the Box. Taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Game set between the Halos and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Mentioned going to break that the Angels have struggled on the defensive side, although Gooby, at times we've seen some brilliant play.
And when you make that very good defensive play, that could really spark your team, and Kyle Kibitsa certainly did that last night. A tough play. That ball looked like it was destined to go into the outfield. Strong throwing arm, and a very good play also by Albert Pujols on the stretch, but Kibitsa showing his very good range and an incredibly strong throwing arm. That's a key out in that game last night, as Albert Pujols kept his foot on the base defense can win games along with offense.
We're just about ready for baseball here in Phoenix. Sit back and relax. We're going to bring you the lineups and the first pitch when we return. Game series between these two ball clubs, and as a reminder, today's game we are participating in the home run challenge. Today every Angels home run in this game raises $12,500 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. The Angels last night contributing $24,000 worth of home runs. 2 home runs, of course, Albert Pujols, David Freese, and they would like to have some continuity in that offense and not just rely on that long ball, especially late games.
Yeah, and there's no question about that, but you also have to look for that balance, like you said, Victor, from 1 through 8. And for Hector, just get the advanced base runner. That's what you want to do, sacrifice bunt. But the long ball should be pretty good in this ballpark. This baseball carries extremely far in this place.
Diamondbacks taking the field. We'll take a look at Mike Scioscia's starting lineup for the Halos. This is game number 66. The Angels at 33 and 32 have Ibar, Calhoun, and Trout in the top third. Pujols, Freese, and Joyce in the middle third. Freese, of course, the third baseman, no DH in the National League. Johnny Givitel after night off back at second. Chris Iannetta behind the plate. Hector Santiago rounding out the starting 9. Of course, he is on the mound as he take on the 27-year-old, the right-hander native of Wichita Falls, Texas. His name is Chase Anderson.
Anderson fastball is 88-93. There's a curveball, and he has a plus changeup. Has thrown the ball very well. Not a lot of decisions for him. He's 2-1. His 3 decisions total in 12 starts. So he's a guy that will pitch very well, but has not got many wins, not a lot of run support. But my go-tos against him tonight to be successful for the Halos against Anderson. Don't chase changeup. He's got a very good one. It runs out of the strike zone and work counts. When you get in those good hitters counts, either 2-0 or 2-1, batters have a very solid batting average against Anderson.
Defensively for Arizona tonight, Peralta, Pollock, and Tomas in the outfield from left to right. Aaron Hill sees action for the first time between these two teams. He's at third. Ahmed Owings and Goldschmidt rounding out the infield from short to first. And Wellington Castillo had the night off last night.
And Aaron Hill getting the start at third base so many times through the years. We've seen him at second base, but he got his 18th start at third base this season, 14 at second. Last year he had 7 starts at third base. Prior to that, mostly a second baseman. Good power. And again, one might have challenged him as far as maybe a push bunt down that third base line to see if he's comfortable enough to make the play on a bunt.
Chase Anderson, as he does before every start, writing the initials of his late father on the back of the mound. His father passing away in 2012, did not see his son's major league debut last year. But as a reminder for him before he takes the mound in every game. Initials on that mound. First one tonight. Ibar swings at it, comes up empty, and it's an 0-1 count. Eric at 251 now with a home run and 19 runs batted in. Eric yesterday 0 for 4. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Ibar's batting average is really taken a beating over the last 12 games. Just over 150. And this is a broken bat roller to second. Owens on to Goldschmidt. There's out number 1.
See that movement he has, Anderson. He definitely keeps the ball on the ground quite a bit. Just 3 home runs allowed this season. It's well over 70 innings pitched.
He'll face Cole Calhoun here with 1 out, nobody on. .268 average for Cole. 0 for 4 in last night's game. This one, little broken bat flare to second. 2 outs. That to me would be a good indicator of the movement we've anticipated from Anderson.
Yeah, a lot of movement on his pitches. My Hyundai key for this game being in Arizona. From Arizona. A lot of leaving left to do. Looking for that long ball again. Especially in this ballpark. Watching batting practice today, that baseball was absolutely flying out of this yard.
I'll tell you what, there are a lot of Angel fans between first and third here. You can hear it when Trout gets introduced. A lot of folks here during batting practice as well. As Trout takes down an in. Mike hitting .298, 18 home runs and 39 runs batted in. Trout with a 1 for 3 game last night with a single and a walk. Scored a run. Big walk by Jeremy Hellickson. That was right before Pujols hit the blast to give the Angels a 2-1 lead. Aside from that, Hellickson a terrific outing. And same for Garrett Richards. Garrett ended up picking up the win, gave up the unearned run. But it was a 1-0 game until that point.
All 3 of these pitchers the Angels are going to face, both last night and Hellickson. You mentioned it, Victor. Anderson and then Webster tomorrow, very similar. All sinking fastballs, changeups. Good curveball also, but they're all very similar. So with the sinking fastball, what you try to do as a hitter, you try to get it elevated enough, at least around knee high or above.
That's a foul tip into the mitten. Trout strikes out to end the first. Head to the bottom of the first inning. Scoreless here in Phoenix. Diamondbacks at 31-33. They're third place in National League West, 5.5 back. Pollock, Peralta, and Goldschmidt in the top third of the order. Tomas Hill, we mentioned, over at third base, and then Owens in the middle third. Castillo, Ahmed, and then Chase Anderson, the pitcher, batting ninth. Taking out Hector Santiago, 4-3 record, and a 2.59 earned run average.
Yeah, 76 in the third innings pitched, 69 strikeouts. Walk total pretty decent. Been around the strike zone quite a bit. He's had some base runners here and there, but Hector's done a fantastic job as far as what he's been able to do with runners in scoring positions. A 135 batting average against. It's a 7 for 52, which is second best in Major League Baseball.
Pollock swinging first pitch, lifts one out to shallow center. Trout will put it away for the first out. Defensively for the Angels tonight, Matt Joyce in left, Mike Trout in center, Cole Calhoun in right. The infield is David Freese and Eric Ive on the left side. Johnny Giamatelli and Albert Pujols on the right, with Chris Seinfeld doing the catching.
Right on cue, fly ball outs, generally the big thing for Hector Santiago. And Cole Calhoun at home, playing in right field, 3 outfield assists this year, 9 last year. He's had 2 errors, but both of them in that Boston series up at Fenway Park. Other than that, it's been flawless in right field.
Peralta, the left fielder, looks at a strike. One ball, one strike. Peralta hitting .255, 5 home runs, and 28 runs batted in. That one's down and in. 2-1 now. This one's pulled foul.
Peralta with just 2 hits against left-handed pitching this year. Tells you that a tough time staying back on breaking balls from lefties.
The guy that Peralta originally in the Cardinals system as a pitcher. And then the Diamondbacks, after watching him playing independent ball, signed him as a position player. Ended up being the Diamondbacks Rookie of the Year last year. Full count. Even played in Rio Grande Valley, South Texas. I was there. This would have been slightly before his time. And he goes around.
Tied him up inside of the fastball at 90. Looking away, looking break ball or fastball away, but he ran that fastball inside. He was committed to going away, looking away. Couldn't catch up to that fastball.
So Goldschmidt will bat with the bases clear and 2 outs. Just the way you want. Major league leading .361 average. 18 home runs and 53 runs batted in.
Yeah, he's hitting .404 against left-handed pitching.
Up and in. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
That's one thing Hector does well, and he's done that effectively this season. It's not even when he goes in with a fastball, he backs it up with another fastball inside.
2-1. 6 no decisions for Hector Santiago. He's gone 3 straight starts. I should say 2 starts and a relief appearance. Took over for Garrett in New York without a decision. That is driven out to right field, and that is going to be long gone. 1-0 Arizona. Goldschmidt goes the opposite way. 19th of the season, giving Arizona the early lead.
It's amazing how well he attacks a baseball. Consider where he starts with his stance and where he has his back located to start with. He got the bat on the shoulder, and then when the pitcher's about ready to get in position, he has a toe tap, brings the hands down, then he has such good coverage going the other way. Great power to right center field. That went out by a long way.
He's a strong cat, there's no doubt about it. He's not huge. The whip that he gets on that bat through the zone is unbelievable. There's some serious quickness as he hits his 19th. Now Yasmani Tomas will bat. He will look at a strike.
I still think you have to almost stay inside exclusively, see if he's quick enough to turn on. He is quick enough, but we've seen every one of the baseballs he's hit hard to center field or right center field when he gets his arms extended.
Tomas lines with the center, and it's a 2-out single.
Pretty good indication how quick he is. That toe tap for his timing, and then threw the baseball that well, and a no doubter the other way.
There's a comfort zone on guys that can let a baseball travel that deep in the strike zone.
I absolutely hated facing guys like that.
Because you think on the mound, all right, I've made my pitch, he's going to take here, and all of a sudden they pull the trigger.
Yeah, and they can let it, especially because you're going to make your money pitching away for the most part. And if you have a hitter up there who's so comfortable letting that ball travel enough that even if though it's away, you can still hit it hard the other way, it makes it difficult to get him out. I remember talking to the late, great Don Drysdale about that exact subject. He said, your job is to get hitters out on the outside corner. Now, to be able to get there, you have to make them uncomfortable with the fastball or something off speed, slider, curveball, whatever it may be, on the inside corner so you can have that outer part of the plate and have it comfortable for you as a pitcher.
3 balls and no strikes. So a 2-out home run followed by a single, and now a 3-0 count on Aaron Hill, the third baseman. There's ball 4.
Well, the one thing Jim Wolf has established, he's not calling that fastball in. They are off the inside corner. He's a pretty solid pitcher's umpire, pretty consistent umpire overall.
Mike Butcher, who made a couple of early appearances in last night's game with Garrett Richards on the mound, making his way out already.
Rallied with 2 outs, 2 quick outs, a fly ball out on 1 pitch, strikeout, a home run, a single, and a walk. Early in the year, that was what was causing the problems with Hector. He's cleaned that up quite a bit.
Chris Owings, the second baseman, hitting 238 with a couple of home runs and 17 RBIs. Tomas at second and Hill at first. 1-0 Arizona here in the first. First one in for a strike. Owings yesterday went 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored. Arizona managing 5 hits all total in last night's loss. They can swing the bats, that's for sure. Foul tipped into the mid.
High changeup from Hector. Dangerous with that pitch being up. The speed was perfect, but being up, you can flick that ball in the right field.
Oh, 2. Tomas takes off. The throw goes to second. Giavatello late covering and safe at second is Aaron Hill.
See, I like that throw from Chris, thrown right to second base. The trail runner has to wait for Tomas to go.
Like Giavatello just didn't break. Sorry, Mark.
I think he had a shot at him. It was a perfect throw. Right away, that's the thought process. But being late there allowed him to get in. Now, if he'd have kept a tag on him, we see that a lot with Eric Ibar. He went off the base, Aaron Hill did. And another stolen base, 2 more stolen bases. For Arizona giving him now 59 on the season.
And Tomas had a pretty good jump from second. So you're right, it's the perfect play for a catcher to go to the trail runner. Ball and 2 strikes on Owings. 2 down. And he pulls this one foul. Last start for Hector was against the Athletics. Gave up 2 runs, 7 hits, 5 2/3, struck out 6, walked 1. Foul back. Hector gave up 2 home runs in that start against Oakland. He's allowed 10, well now 11 on the season, with Goldschmidt getting him here in the first.
Well, we talked about how well he has pitched with runners in scoring position. He has 2 right now. We're only here in the first inning. A big pitch to get through this inning with no more damage for Hector and the Angels.
Time is called. Hector taking a little while. 23 pitches here in the first. Struck him out, challenged him with a fastball. Owings goes down swinging, 2 strikeouts in the inning, but 1 mistake. We into the second, 1-0 Arizona. Home run, and Hector Santiago had a little conversation with Mike Butcher as he entered the dugout after the bottom of the first.
Yeah, the one thing about Hector, he's always ready to get some information from Mike Butcher, and he's basically slowing him down, telling him what he needs to be able to do to get back in the strike zone, especially with his off-speed pitch. He's missed sometimes inside with the fastball, just kind of not finishing off. He's cutting across his body enough with his fastball that he's missing inside.
You know, but that's not bad though, right? Because you want him. You know, maybe Jim Wolf's not giving you the calls, but you can't just go away from that game plan because you're not getting calls.
No, and if you're going to miss inside, you'd rather miss off the plate inside than drifting out over the plate. So it's a minor adjustment, and that's why that conversation started with Mike Butcher. It's a minor adjustment to get back, hitting that spot inside. You throw for a strike, and then the next one, you go about a half a baseball off the plate inside. You can jam a hitter.
Pujols frees and Joyce for the Angels here in the second inning. And Albert takes up and away, pardon me. 3 balls and no strikes. Pujols, 273 average. American League leading, 19 home runs, 36 RBIs. The home run he hit last night is 539th of his career.
Might as well go green light here.
Yeah, he did. He skies one to right. See a little frustration there with the toss to the bat. 1 down. Hey fans, the Angels will take on the Houston Astros next Tuesday at 7:05, and fans in attendance will receive an Angels beach hat courtesy of Chronic Tacos while supplies last. Purchase tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or online at angels.com. We We had some tacos today, but they were ice cream tacos.
Yeah, they were.
Choco tacos.
Yes. I'll tell you what, that would come in handy today. There's not a cloud in the sky here.
You'd have about 0.5 seconds to crush ice cream today. It's 110 degrees at first pitch, 79 inside Chase Field.
Dry heat, though, right?
That's what I'm told. Just like the pizza oven. David Freese hit his 10th of the year last night. 2-run shot, now at 34 RBIs.
And coming in this game, hitters on a 2-0 count against Anderson. 3 for 3 this year. And even in a 2-1 count, hitting 400, 8 for 20 against him. So when you get ahead of the count, you're taking away that ability to throw his changeup as effectively behind in the count. They're throwing him a curveball, 2-1. Freese, a career .309 hitter against the Diamondbacks with 5 home runs.
Full count.
Notice that changeup right there, that's his go-to, that's his best pitch. It's a plus changeup. That's what he tries to get for a swing and miss. Other pitchers use the changeup to get pop-up outs. He goes there for a strikeout.
Jammed him. Lifted out to right center. Tomas calling for it. 2 outs. Up steps Matt Joyce. Chase Anderson, a 2-1 record. This is his 13th start. He has 9 no decisions. 2.82 ERA. It's a lot of no decisions.
Both pitchers in this game, quite a few no decisions.
Picked up a win his last start against the Giants. They have 1 hit, 7 innings of work.
They had a no-no going into that 7th inning.
Ball on a strike on Joyce, the left fielder. 181 with 4 home runs, 17 RBIs.
And look at what he averages basically per start, around 6 innings per start. It's tough to get a lot of decisions when you're at that level as far as innings pitched. A lot of things happen that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
Off speed pitch, 2-2. National League, too. You're more susceptible to the double switch and getting yanked early. Joyce pulls one down the line. That's a fair ball. Adrian Johnson calling it fair, and Anderson covers. Nice play by Goldschmidt. The Angels go down in order here in the 2nd. We'll head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Arizona leading at 1-0. Santiago gave up a home run to Paul Goldschmidt, his 19th of the year.
Good play by Goldschmidt to end the inning also.
Yeah.
Won a Gold Glove at first base, showing very good range.
Arizona sent 6 men to the plate in the first. It's the bottom third. In the second inning, Castillo, Ahmed, and Anderson. Wellington Castillo, the catcher, hitting 182. 3 home runs, 7 runs batted in. Came over to deal for Mark Trumbo from the Seattle Mariners. No balls, 2 strikes. Castillo had the night off last night. Did get to start in the opening game on Monday. Went 0 for 3. Late on the fastball. Count remains at 0-2. Down and in. Good crowd here tonight. It's Wednesday night. Still filing in.
Yeah, quite a few people. It looked like it wasn't going to be that big of a crowd early on when we were just 15 minutes before the game started. But all of a sudden, look around, it's a pretty good crowd. Certainly a lot of Angel fans here.
1-2. Check swing. Looked like he went around. He did. Third strikeout for Santiago. It's the first out here in the second.
Another good all-speed pitch. Change up over. Great spot to swing and miss. Couldn't hold up. Especially after a couple good fastballs, one in and one up and in.
Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, hitting 221. Batting in the 9th spot yesterday, went 0 for 2. Drew a walk. Three-0 count. The pitcher on deck. There's Anderson. Full count. Becker with 3 punch outs, 1 walk, and 2 hits allowed. Good tempo so far here in the second. Foul back. Fastball goes up.
Right, that man very good against left-handed pitching himself. 350 batting average for 2 home runs.
And he walks him. So a 1-out walk ahead of the pitcher and bring up Anderson. He's in a sacrifice situation.
6 sacrifice bunts this year. So he does a good job as far as that.
Two for 20 this season with a couple of runs batted in. Some sacrifices this season. A.J. Pollock, the leadoff man, is on deck. Did not go. Almost waited a little too long to pull that bat back.
And Hector throws a lot of high fastballs. He's not real easy to bunt against as far as a sacrifice bunt. Ideally, when you try to get a batter to pop up a bunt, you want to elevate your fastball.
This one off the plate. Iannetta Fields it, fires over to Giavatello. 2 down. The sacrifice advances a man into scoring position.
Yeah, real good angle. We can see the communication between David Freese crashing from third. Santiago coming in from the mound, but Iannetta calling him off right away. It's an easier play. Freese crashing quickly, the bunt. Santiago getting out there also too, but it's an easier play for Chris Iannetta. Done well. Good communication to get the pitcher at first base.
Pollock hit a fly ball to center field the first, so he's 0 for 1. Came in batting .316 with 8 home runs and 31 driven home. Looks at the strike, good off-speed pitch. Pollock had the sac fly in last night's game in the second inning. 1 hit so far through the first 2+ games against the Angels. Ball with a strike.
Like Hector stumbled a little bit in his follow through.
Giavatello trying to keep Ahmed close at second base. Time was called. That's one of those when time is called. The pitcher's looking back at second.
At that point, you might as well follow through with the pitch. It's changing the eye level just slightly.
Two ball, 1 strike count. Good conversation with Chris Iannetta. Starting to go a little bit longer conversation. Jim Wolf was on his way out to break up the meeting.
Kind of a slow pace for Hector, which is unusual. Been digging around that pitching rubber a lot on the mound. Not real comfortable on the mound yet tonight.
Spin move, nobody cutting in. Pollock looks at a strike. 2-2 now. 2 outs here to second. Home run by Goldschmidt in the first.
So trying to get comfortable on the mound here. Mislocation, but that fastball is right down the heart of the plate at the knees.
The 2-2. Down and in. Breaking ball. Full count. Peralta on deck.
And you have an open base, you don't have to give into a fastball here. You know, the lefty on deck has had a lot of troubles against left-handed pitching this year.
Now the payoff. Pollock takes a called strike 3. Took something off, and Santiago's picked up his 4th strikeout. We'll head to the 3rd. Halos down 1-0. Up 6 down against Chase Anderson. Here in the 3rd inning, the fans looking for some action against the right-hander. Giamatello, Ionetta, and Santiago. Giamatello looks at a breaking ball that misses inside. Johnny had the night off last night. Taylor Featherston got the start at 2nd. Giamatello hitting .268. 9 doubles, a triple, a couple of home runs, 21 RBIs. 2 balls, no strikes.
You see that movement on the fastball from Anderson. That started middle of the plate and just ran off the inside corner. One of those good hitters counts.
Pulled to short. Ahmed bobbles it. Tried to backhand it. Not going to get Giamatello there. And that should go as an error. And it is. 5th error committed by Ahmed. First base runner of the game for the Angels.
Doesn't happen too often for the Diamondbacks. One of the better defensive teams in all of baseball. Right on the backhand. It almost looked like he could have got in front of that baseball. Tried the backhand hit well by Giamatello, but unable to make the play.
So Chris Ionetta will bat. He's hitting .159 with 3 home runs and 14 runs batted in. Chris getting to start behind the plate tonight. Perez has worked the first couple of games between these two teams. And he lifts one out to left field. This one will take Peralta back to shy of the track. And there's the first down. Giamatello back to first. Folks, you can come celebrate Christmas in June when the Angels take on the Seattle Mariners on June 26th at 7:05. Fans in attendance will receive an Angels ornament courtesy of Sungevity. Get your tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or online.
I know you just cannot wait for that one.
Pumped up?
Yes, indeed.
I like Christmas.
Yes.
That's your favorite holiday.
Yeah, you're going to dress up as the heat miser, right?
I might. You never know. Santiago showing bunt. Hector 1 for 9 in his career. Be good luck.
Oh, it would be. They get the red hair working and everything else.
I don't even know if they'd make that costume though.
That's possible.
Special order.
We have time.
Oh, don't we? We got nothing else to do.
No.
Santiago bunts it foul. Maybe chased. It would have been ball 2.
That's the thing, especially when you're an American League pitcher, you don't get an opportunity to do this all that much. So practice a whole lot on that. Pitch out of the strike zone. Again, you just want to have that bat level out and kind of keep it right in that zone. If it's going to be above the bat, let it go, because that means it's going to be out of the strike zone. You're not comfortable normally because you don't do it often.
Broken bat bouncing back to the mound. Anderson goes to second for 1. The relay back in time. 1-6-3 twin killing that ends the inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd. It's still 1-0 Arizona. Start game ballot now at Angels.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. You can vote up to 35 times at Angels.com.
Get out there and vote. Albert Pujols should be an all-star the way he's hitting the baseball.
Tough position. The way things have played out so far in the American League. Prince Fielder having a nice bounce back season. Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, that guy in Detroit. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Hosmer's having a solid season. He's the leading vote getter right now too. Yeah. But Albert Pujols leads the American League in home runs.
Hector Santiago to face 2, 3, and 4 here in the 3rd inning. Peralta, Goldschmidt, and Tomas. Hector with 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits allowed. Home run to Goldschmidt, followed by the 2-out single to Tomas. Those are the only 2 hits. Peralta strikeout victim into first. There's a fastball for a strike.
A couple good fastballs in a row located well by Hector.
Two on the way. Ground ball toward the hole on the shortstop side, and it's past Eric Ibar, who was shading Peralta toward the middle. So it's a leadoff single, and Goldschmidt will come up now.
An all-speed pitcher was elevated, allowed him to slap the ball through the hole between short and third. Goldschmidt back in the first inning. This location, that pitch wanted to go inside, but that his hands so quick going the other way. His 19th home run, 54 RBI for Goldschmidt this season. Well, those numbers as far as top 5 in all the offensive categories in the National League. And that's an important pitch for Heck. Now, if he goes back inside, you can almost miss off the plate in, because now you've established the fact that you can throw your fastball for a strike inside.
Now it's just missing in. Maybe hitting the mitt, but it is just missing the strike zone, according to Fox Tracks.
Back inside again.
That is out towards shallow left center field. Big swing, but a small drive. Trout will make the catch.
I still think that's where you have to pitch him. Got in there just enough. Now it's right on the inside corner. In a hitter's count, 2-1 count. Now you have to go inside with conviction if you're a pitcher. He takes that generally. If you get on that inside corner, you can get him.
Yasmani Tomas, the right fielder, singled in the first innings. He's 1 for 1. So his numbers this year. His first major league season, first professional season in the States. Signed in the offseason, a 6-year deal after leaving Cuba. Said it in the first 2 games of the series, these guys can swing the bats. The pitching's been the issue for Arizona. Hector had 54 pitches here in the 3rd inning. That is line to right, a base hit. Cole needing to get over to cut it off. He can't. It goes all the way to the wall. Racing to third is Peralta. He is being waved in. Giovatello's throw to the plate is not in time. An RBI triple by Yasmani Tomas makes it 2-0 Arizona.
Tell you what, for a strong-looking guy, Tomas can run well. He's hit the ball well against the Angels in this 2-game series at home, and then the first of the 2-game series here. Went with the pitch going the other way. Hit extremely hard. And this grass here in Arizona, extremely fast, both in the infield and outfield.
Boy, Cole giving it everything to try to get there, see if he can cut it off. Triple for Tomas, his first as a big leaguer. Picks up his 25th RBI. Infield in, and the first one's upstairs. Aaron Hill drew a walk into first, and no official at bat for him. 2-hit game for Tomas now. Off the plate for ball 2. That is pulled over to third, right to Freeze. Nice play on the backhand. Do not go on contact. Tomas stays at third, 2 outs.
And under control for Freeze to be able to look where Tomas was as far as being by the base at third. And a strong long throw across the diamond. This ball is hit pretty hard. One hop, backhand, able to look him back to the base. Well, if he's going on contact, especially as hard as that ball was hit, I think they have him pretty easily, but because of the way you have to backhand, it's a more difficult throw for Freese to home plate. There is going to be a play at the plate.
I was thinking that as this one's fouled back, the fact that he backhands it, the momentum taking him toward the foul line. If there's a base runner going down the line, Freese would have to open up some sort of lane to throw to Iannetta.
And Iannetta would probably be screened by Tomas going down the line. It would have been a difficult throw.
In the dirt, nice block by Chris. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Owings, a strikeout victim, ending the first, so he's 0 for 1. Owings, extremely tardy on that fastball that was up. Tried to backdoor that pitch. Evens up the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Arizona with a 2-0 lead here in the third. Foul back. Halos in the top of the 4th inning of Ivar, Calhoun, and Trout due up. Still looking for their first hit. Because of the double play ball, Chase Anderson has faced the minimum 9. Fouled off the mask of Chris Iannetta.
A lot of pitches thrown already for Hector in this game, 63 of them. He's not through the 3rd inning yet.
And he got him again with a fastball. Down goes Owings. 3rd inning recorded. Arizona tacks on another run. We'll head to the 4th. Halos down 2-0.
Conversation with Johnny Giavitello. Certain things he wants from Johnny. Be in position, especially defensively, know exactly what type of pitch the pitcher is going to be throwing and have himself in position to make an easy routine play. And also at the plate, also think in terms of shorten up your swing, using your head as far as what type of player you are. You're a line drive, ground ball type hitter. Don't think in terms of home run ball. Think in terms of line drive.
Eric Ibar leading things off here. Takes a slow curveball outside. Eric grounded out to lead off the ball game.
Eric has really struggled in his last 13 games as far as swinging the bat. Need to get him back on track.
One missing down and in that breaking ball.
So back-to-back off-speed pitch, a changeup for a strike, curveball out of the strike zone.
Two one lifted to left. Peralta in a couple of steps. And now back a couple of steps. One out.
And now it's time for a T-Mobile game changer with Cole Calhoun coming to the plate. 40 miles from here in Buckeye, Arizona. Played 2 seasons in Arizona State where he had a really good batting average and power numbers. 29 home runs, 112 RBI in 125 games at Arizona State. First team all Pac-10 back in 2010 for the local boy, Cole Calhoun.
Cole looks at a strike.
Earlier today, he said, "Oh, nice, cool weather here, just like I like it."
He's excited to be back in his home state.
And a little bit warm here. Not bad, though.
He must have run inside.
I know, it's pretty comfortable.
Very nice in here. 79 degrees. Cool little ballpark. Hosted the 2011 All-Star game. Halos had 3 All-Stars that year. Can you name? Jared Weaver, Howard Kendrick, Jordan Walden.
Jordan Walden.
Yeah.
The unusual delivery from Jordan Walden.
Yeah. This one lined to second. Over the head of Owings. I think Owings thought he had a beat on it. And almost for the second consecutive time, a line out for Cole right to the second baseman. This time goes for a single.
Yeah, he hit well, and almost thought he had that timed right. And that's all you can do as a hitter, square up a baseball, and Cole has done it twice. This time gets a hit. Fastball drifted out over the heart of the plate. It always looked like he was ready to make the play on it, but that ball was scolded by Calhoun.
First hit of the night for the Angels. Second base runner will check in on Cole.
Prior to that last inning when Giavitello reached first base on an error, the Diamondbacks had not allowed, the starters had not allowed a leadoff batter to get on base. That's why they've pitched pretty well these 3 games so far.
And the error very unusual for a team that has been very good this season. 30th error of the year. Oh, 1 upstairs. Trout a strikeout victim in the first. The only punch out Anderson has picked up in this game.
It's one of those change-up counts for Anderson. We know that Trout is very quick on a change-up, especially when it's downstairs. So we'll go with a fastball instead.
2 balls and a strike. Pujols on deck. Oh, good rip. Fouled it straight back.
That was a changeup, and he made a mistake with it right over the heart of the plate. The unusual thing for a right-handed pitcher, a lot of times we throw a changeup, you don't come back with a curveball, but he's done that quite a bit.
Outside, full count.
An easy situation for Mike Scioscia on a 3-2 count with Trout at the plate. Does he send Cole with 1 out, knowing that Albert Pujols is on deck? If there's no contact made by Trout, you want to make sure that Albert comes to the plate the way he's been swinging the bat.
Three, 2, and he got him with a changeup. A 3-2 change piece down and in. 2 outs.
2 strikeouts already for Trout in the game. That's a very good changeup. At 79 miles an hour with that late movement. There's a right-handed batter against that changeup. Even if you make contact, all you're going to do is pull that foul.
So 2 outs to the man at first, and Pujols at the plate. Albert a fly ball to right field in the 2nd inning.
Looks like Castillo wants Anderson to throw a changeup.
Arizona with solo runs in the 1st and 3rd. Anderson a 2-0 lead.
Fastball away here.
Ran it back up and in. Mistake pitch.
Certainly not overpowering with his fastball. It's been around 88, 91, maybe 92. But he's pitched inside enough to be effective with his fastball to set up his very good changeup.
There's the changeup. 2 balls and a strike. But like Hector, doesn't the fact that he's capable of throwing the changeup at any point make the fastball appear it's getting on you quicker?
Yeah, there's no question, because it's almost as if the hitters look like right now they're kind of sitting on his changeup, and when you do that as a hitter, 91, 92 appears to be 95 to 97 range.
This is lined toward the alley in right center field. That's a base hit. Cole will round 2nd, head to 3rd. Tomas cuts it off. Pujols with a single. The Angels have runners at the corners here with 2 outs. And Freese coming up.
Good piece of hitting again by Pujols. There's a lot of good hitting right there in those two. Nice conversation between Goldschmidt and Pujols. Change up once again. This time he got a lot of the plate. And Albert has stayed with. That's the thing he's been doing so well in the last 18 games or so, was staying back and using the whole field. A big moment now for Freese. The conversation out there on the mound.
Freese with a fly ball to right field in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1. David came in batting .241, 10 home runs and 34 runs batted in. .255 batting average with men in scoring position. Cues this one over to first, smothered by Goldschmidt, and inning is over.
Jammed on the high changeup.
Yeah. So the Halos will leave a couple of men off. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Arizona maintains a 2-0 lead. The 115th U.S. Open Championship live from Chambers Bay Golf Course begins at 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports 1 and continues in prime time at 5 p.m. Pacific on your local Fox station. It's all streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
It should be a great tournament. Extremely tough course. Albert Pujols talked about that tournament and that golf course today on the pregame show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to see that tournament and see who plays well. What
Fun for you watching it at home,
yes,
or in the hotel room.
Well, that's so true. At least I don't have to swing the golf club.
No doubt. Santiago to face the bottom third.
I could second guess, though. Why are you using that club? What'd you pick that club for?
Exactly. Albert, he was going with Jordan Spieth is what it seemed like, and that ball is hammered to left field. Wellington Castillo. A deep drive to make it 3-0 Arizona. Fourth home run of the season for Castillo, the second one allowed by Hector.
Now 11 home runs versus right-handed batters. Setting up away. Looked like it was trying to be a backdoor cutter.
Yeah, that was nowhere near the intended target. Bad things tend to happen when that occurs.
Yeah, coming in this game, as far as the pitches thrown by Hector that have been hit out of the ballpark, 3 on fastballs, 3 on cut fastballs, 3 with his changeup, and 1 against his slider. That was a cut fastball that left the building.
Nick Ahmed drew a walk in the second inning. The official at bat for him has a 1-ball, 1-strike count here. Out to center. 1 down. Chase Anderson, the pitcher, had a sacrifice bunt in the second. Hector wants to do baseball. It's a nice ballpark, this Chase Field. Originally an open bank one ballpark. Or the Bob.
The Bob. Yeah, it's a real nice ballpark.
Yeah. 413 to the deepest parts. That's just to the right and left of center field. And the overhangs out there. 407 to straightaway center. And then, of course, you've got the infamous swimming pool.
Oh yeah.
Don't go swimming in their pool if
you're a Dodger, that's for sure.
For sure. Ibar can't come up with that one. It's going to be a bang-bang play because that ball took a while to get up the middle. And that's an infield single for Anderson. His third hit of the season.
Scramble right back up the middle. And Hector anticipating one of his middle infielders being behind towards base. Looked like he might have had a shot, putting the glove up, jump up, and make the play, but anticipating the middle infielder to be able to field that ball. And it picks up steam, especially with that dirt path between the mound and home plate.
Cute foul by Pollock. And as we've seen, not only on the Tomas triple to right center, but even on that ball there. Hard infield, hard outfield. Ball's quick.
This is a great hitter's yard.
Yeah.
Talk about the field in Arlington, Texas being a great hitter's yard. This thing is very good for hitters also, how quick the infield is.
Pollock skies one to left center. Trout moving over. 2 down.
Hector with 75 pitches thrown. He's had a tough time controlling the pitch count from the get-go. 24 in the first, 20 in the second and third. A chance to have a quicker inning here in the fourth.
Peralta single his last time up.
That was a pretty good pitch. Jim Wolf hasn't missed many. He missed that one.
Down and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hector at 78 pitches here in the 4th inning. The Angels starting some action in the bullpen down in the right field corner. Cam Bedrosian first man up. Down and away. 3 balls and a strike. Goldschmidt on deck.
This is the guy you want to get if you're Hector. And Hector's thrown away quite a few baseballs today too.
A strike, a delayed call, and a live base runner, literally and figuratively, at first base. Anderson was walking towards second, thought it was ball 4 himself.
That was right down the heart of the plate. It's in strike zone, there's no question. And he starts walking towards second, and he realizes he better get back. Same thing with Albert. He is alive.
He's alive.
He's alive.
He goes, and it's a called strike 3. Peralta goes down for the 3rd out. Arizona tacks on a run. We head to the 5th. 3-0 Arizona. Brought to you by the 2015 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimate 31 highway miles per gallon. Visit Jeep.com for more information. And by AT Uverse. More live TV channels on the go than cable. Beautiful shot of Chase Field. It's 100 degrees, over 100 degrees outside. It's nice inside, but not nice to the Angels. 3-0 Arizona. A couple of home runs and an RBI triple. Difference in this game. The Angels have 2 hits. Both singles occurring in the 4th inning. Hale's leaving runners at 1st and 3rd in the 4th. And here in the 5th, it'll be Joyce, Giavotella, and Iannetta to face Chase Anderson, who has 2 strikeouts, no walks, and just those 2 hits allowed. Matt Joyce, 0 for 1. Ground to one to Goldschmidt to end the 2nd.
Staying away with a sinker, then followed up with a changeup. Shift on for Joyce. A lot of room on that left side of the infield.
2 balls and 1 strike. Talk about shallow right field. That's where Chris Owings is at. And Tomas could be his backpack.
Yes. It's crazy when you see these shifts on nowadays. It seems like back in the old days when you played softball, you would see that type of defensive formation.
2-2. Joyce fully committed to that swing. Looks like he got fooled a little bit, but made contact, keeps his at-bat alive. It's been a struggle for Joyce for the first 2.5 months of the season. Still trying to find his bearing, given the opportunity once again here with a righty on the mound. Starting left field. Oh, there's a chopper to the left side. Ahmed got it, off balance throw. That would have been an awesome play, but an easy single for Matt Joyce.
Talking about having coverage on that side of the infield. You just have one player, a very good athletic shortstop with good range. Off the bat, I'm thinking that's an automatic hit.
Yeah.
And Joyce realizing he's going to be able to get to that baseball, and he had to go flying down the line to be able to get an infield hit.
Nice job, too. It's almost like a 2-strike approach there by Joyce. We'll sinker down and away. You pull that, you're out. Try to punch the other way, and that's exactly what he did. Gets an infield single. So Giavotella will bat. He reached on the error by Ahmed in the 3rd inning, so he's 0 for 1.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Joyce comes around again when there's no one on base with Ahmed playing where he was playing. Why not push a bunt down the 3rd base line on the first pitch?
Time is called. It's a good idea, but a little bit more difficult, I guess, in the National League part. You got an 8th place hitter, then the pitcher, or the pitcher spot. That's why somebody's warming now, because if the Angels do get something going, I'm sure that Socia would pinch hit for Hector Santiago. Castillo and Anderson unable to get on the same page. Around the American League scoreboard, as far as the Western Division, the American League, Houston leading Colorado 6-2. That game's the top of the 7th. Texas leading the Dodgers 1-0. They're just in the 2nd inning. Seattle and San Francisco scoreless in the 4th.
That's a pretty good pitching matchup. Madison Bumgarner and Felix Hernandez.
Tough outing for Felix the last time out. 2/3 of an inning against the Astros. It's the worst outing of his career. Oakland leading the Padres 4-0 in the bottom of the 2nd.
Well, since the Padres have let Bud Black go, it's not worked out for him, that's for sure.
position to lose 4 in a row.
Will Myers to have wrist surgery. He's been out a lot already. He's going to miss more time. 1 ball, no strikes on Johnny Giavitello.
We kind of like to see this, a pitcher with a 3-0 lead being distracted by a run over first, stepping off, going through a series of signs, throwing over. Now first pitch out of the strike zone.
And with this part of the order up, that's not a knock on the guys, but whether it's the Angels or anybody, especially in a National League game, attack the guys that you have in this spot.
Again,
with a 3-0 lead, like you said.
Looking at the sign there by Castillo, it almost looked like it was a sign either step off or throw over the first base sign. Surprising. That's that sign to throw over the first base. The fingers split apart, then over one. Matt Joyce with no stolen bases this year. Been caught 3 times. Giavitello could be thinking in terms of a hit and run, but a 3-0 lead, you're more apt not to do that. He's thrown 60 pitches, 34 strikes.
I think overthinking would probably be a better word.
And this, you mentioned this part of the lineup. Yeah, there's still, if we make a mistake, Giavitello can hit it out. Same thing with Chris Iannetta. But this is a part of the lineup where you're trying to, as the Angels, bunch hits together.
Right.
Not thinking in terms of the long ball, but bunch hits together.
You're not necessarily worried about Joyce stealing second base. If you're, at least you could if you wanted to give it to you, but it's not your main focus here. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now you've got an opportunity, if you're the Angels, for a hit and run situation.
Yeah, the count presents that right now, 2-1, because you anticipate because of that it's going to be a fastball.
Iannetta and then the pitcher spot on deck and to follow. Inside 3-1.
But he's really slowed down his pace now. Again,
which is the last thing you want, right?
No, I mean, you want to keep going. You want your defenders to make plays behind you. You have a 3-0 lead. Really surprising they're paying that much attention, and they have to Matt Joyce. It's really cost him because of his tempo being changed. A lot of pitches out of the strike zone.
Matt off to a big lead. 3-1 count on Johnny. Full count. Joyce, by the way, has no stolen bases, been caught 3 times.
That was a nasty 2-seam fastball. Now he may be going here on the 3-2 count, even though there's no outs. He may be going, especially this part of the lineup. Hoping that Giavitello at the very least will make contact and hit it on the ground.
Takes off, and it's a ground ball to the right side. Long run for Owings, can't get it. It sneaks out to right. Joyce stopped for a second, heads to third. He thought Owings was going to come up with it. And the Angels have runners at the corners with nobody out here in the 5th.
And that's why we felt that was the right decision for Mike Scioscia. 3-2 count, anticipating that Giavitello. That's that conversation that Scioscia had with Giavitello in the dugout early in the game. Hey, just playing your game. Hit the ball on the ground. 3-2 pitch, ground ball, not certainly squared up, but placed well because of the movement on a 3-2 count and Joyce going on the pitch. Mike Hart going out there, a quick conversation, and I think that's either those calls were being put on from the bench as far as stepping off and throwing over. It looked like it was, because you see the sign from Castillo that all of a sudden his rhythm and timing is thrown off.
So an opportunity for the Angels not only to get on the board, but to kind of expand here and have a big inning. Santiago is out on the on-deck circle, but that doesn't mean he would bat. It all depends on perhaps on this plate appearance here.
Yeah, maybe a base hit from Chris. Scores a run, and then it'll be first and second, and he'd be asked to square around the bunt to advance both runners into scoring position. .251 career hitter versus Arizona for Iannetta. Could use a base hit big time here.
Iannetta chops this one to third. They'll go to second for one. The relay back to first. A double play. The run scores, and the Angels only get one out of it. And now there are 2 outs. Santiago will bat now. Second double play turned by Arizona. No RBI. (3-1) now here in the 5th. Here's Hector Santiago grounded into a 1-6-3 double play in the 3rd.
And you can almost tell that's exactly what Harkey went out to have that conversation with Anderson. He's done a nice job as a pitching coach for the Diamondbacks. Let's get back to that power sinker. Get a ground ball, and he did right away.
This one looped out to right field, and Santiago with a 2-out base hit.
Now 2 for 11 in his career. Pretty good swing too by Hector on that pitch. Stayed back well on it. Pretty level swing for Hector going the other way.
It's like a 7-iron right there.
Oh yeah.
Head down. Get through the ball.
Laid up there in front of that green.
So 6 a.m. tee times of his. Ibar fouls off the first one, 0-1. Eric 0 for 2. Ground ball to second, a fly ball to left. Jammed him, and it's popped to short. Ahmed puts it away. The Angels do get a run. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. 3-1 Arizona. Not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. Diamondbacks on top 3-1. 2 home runs and a RBI triple. Hector Santiago back to work here in the 5th inning. He's got Goldschmidt, Tomas, and Hill due up here in the 5th. Made a terrific pitch on Goldschmidt in the 3rd inning at bat that resulted in a fly ball to shallow center. He's thrown 82 pitches, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, but long innings though. It's gotten him into trouble. Goldschmidt foul tips that one into the glove, 0-1.
Tried to go back in with a fastball that got a little bit more of the plate than he anticipated, but you could tell by that swing by Goldschmidt, he was looking fastball in.
Oh, 2.
Back inside again.
Trying to go back inside. This one's fouled off. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Goldschmidt, the leading vote getter so far in the National League at first base. Extending his lead over Adrian Gonzalez of the Dodgers. An All-Star game, by the way, right around the corner.
Cincinnati.
June 17th.
So less than
July 12th. All right. A Tuesday. July 14th.
We were looking at the hats they're going to be wearing today.
Oof. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. Just looking at the hats.
I understand it with the long history of baseball in Cincinnati. Going for that look. It's different. 2-2 pitch. Got him looking. Goldschmidt do it. 1 out.
Well, he's really aware of the fastball in against Hector. And normally it's a pretty good spot for him to swing the bat, but he's conscious of that fastball. He's been pounding him inside with his fastball. After you got that, his arms extended, his first at bat, hitting a home run to right center field on an off-speed pitch. Now, if you're C.J. Wilson, you're watching this game from the dugout, you're thinking, I got to get my fastball inside against Goldschmidt tomorrow also.
Yeah. C.J.'s on the hill tomorrow afternoon. Tomas makes swing and a miss on a slow breaking ball. Alan Webster on the mound for Arizona. Remember, that's a 12:40 start. First pitch anyway. Angels live pregame. Kick things off at noon. Tomas 2 for 2 with a single and a triple. Picked up an RBI as well. And he goes down swinging on the high fastball. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts, by the way, for Hector Santiago. Hey fans, join us for movie night at the Big A after the Angels take on the Mariners on June 27th at 4:15. After the game, fans will be allowed on the outfield grass to watch our featured presentation of Finding Nemo. One of my all-time favorite Disney movies, by the way.
Great movie.
For more info and to purchase tickets, visit angels.com/promotions. Finding Nemo and Aladdin. Guilty.
Yes.
Guilty.
No. Kind of like the Lion King myself, too. Well, they're all good.
Let me tell you about Lion King. Movie is good. The musical, unbelievable.
Yes. Saw that. Yes. Incredible.
No balls and 2 strikes on Aaron Hill. A walk and a ground out. Down and away. Looks like he slipped there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He always checks with those two lines he puts out to start the game. The pitching lane, he fell out of the lane there, overthrowing that pitch.
8 strikeouts matches a season high for him. His 3rd time he's picked up 8 strikeouts. Down and in.
I'll tell you what, when you watch Hector pitch, he is extremely aggressive with his fastball inside to right-handed batters. That's good to see. A lot of times you see from the left, he'll shy away from the inner half of the plate against right-handed batters. And usually will throw that slider down and in, but change-ups and fastballs away.
Called strike 3, got him a fastball at the knees. 9th strikeout of the night. We head to the 6th inning. Halos down 3-1.
Goldschmidt, pitch out over the plate, hits his 19th home run of the season in the right center field, and Castillo got a fastball in the inner half of the plate. Cutter hits it out, but then Hector Santiago just dealt from this point forward. Very good, 4 strikeouts in a row for Hector Santiago. The home run by Castillo, and Goldschmidt the difference really in this game for the Diamondbacks.
Broken bat flare to right center field, and it's a leadoff single for Cole Calhoun to start the 6th. Cole's 2nd hit of the night. It'll bring up Trout.
Good home cooking for Cole.
Yeah.
Here's your chance right now to tie it up with 1 swing for Mike Trout.
Mike 0 for 2. Both times he has punched out. Only 2 strikeouts that Anderson has picked up tonight. Hit by Cole, the 6th hit for the Yankees. So both teams now even in the hit column. One ball, 1 strike. We'll say this about Anderson. He's kind of worked the 4 quadrants again. He's kind of kept hitters in check.
Yeah. I mean, even he'll throw his 2-seam fastball down and away, but also will go with his 4-seam fastball up and away. And he's pitched inside well. Went inside with his fastball, just missed. Want to know where that pitch was, but it was off the inside corner. Now, what he has shown, though, in these type of counts, although coming in this game, Hitters hit 400 2-1 counts, 8 for 20 that he will throw his off-speed pitch.
This is line to right. That's a base hit headed toward the corner. Calhoun on his way to third. Trout on his way to second. And he is in there with a double. The Angels have 2 on with nobody out, and Albert coming up.
Boy, Trout did a nice job of keeping his front shoulder in. And speaking of that, Albert Pujols his last at bat. Now it's time for Tools of the Trade. Brought to you by Ram Trucks. Almost the exact type of swing that Trout has had. Pujols in his last at bat stayed back, kept his front shoulder in, and used the other part of the field, the big part of the field. And there he is trying to tell himself to keep his front shoulder in. That's exactly what Albert did his last at bat, and that's exactly what Trout did that at bat.
Infield back for Arizona. Albert 1 for 2, a fly ball to right, the single to right. Double for Trout, his 14th of the season. Are you surprised that they're pitching to Albert? The way he's been swinging the bat now?
No. I think what you're trying to do is with a hitter as hot as Albert is, as a pitcher, you're going to try to use that against him and throw pitch just out of the strike zone to see if you get him overly aggressive. Now Albert's hoping for a mistake middle part of the plate.
And he got one. Laced down the left field line. Hooks it foul. Again, do you want to walk, Albert?
That's the conversation, though. A changeup out of the strike zone. He threw a changeup and it got a lot of the plate. Albert just missed hitting it out. Now, I'd be real surprised if anything is close to the strike zone this next pitch.
This is popped up on the first base side. Goldschmidt racing over, but he will run out of room.
He ran a fastball in after a changeup was out over the plate. The thought behind that fastball was he didn't care if he missed off the plate in. Again, when the hitter is as hot as Albert is, he wants to swing the bat. So you're more apt to chase some pitches that you wouldn't normally go after. But so far, twice now, Anderson has not hit his spot.
Chopper to the left side. A man with a diving stop gets up, fires to first. Pujols out at first. Can't believe it. The run scores. It's a 3-2 Diamondbacks lead.
Oh, Med made an unbelievable play. They're going to check to make sure Mike Scioscia's going to check. I thought he might have got him. Real good range there. Ball was in the outfield grass, and what a strong throwing arm he has. The one hop. Yep.
It's an RBI for Pujols, his 37th. It's the first out of the inning. Trout remains in second.
What a play. Use that infield grass to skip it across the diamond. Hit well by Pujols.
Yep.
Surprised that they missed another pitch in the middle of the plate.
David Freese 0 for 2, a fly ball to right and a ground ball to first. Freese rolls it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Anderson's gotten Freese to be out in front of his all-speed pitch, usually because he's so good as far as staying back and using the whole field. You think a pitch like that would be perfect for Freese to drive to right center field.
Two balls and 1 strike. 82 pitches for Anderson. Arizona's starting to get some action going in their bullpen. The left field corner. Here's the 2-1. 2-2.
And that's his go-to pitch. The stressful time is his changeup. So he's throwing that one away. I wonder if he'll throw his changeup, that one that runs down and in off the plate.
Halos down 1. Single by Calhoun, double by Trout. And the ground down by Pujols. 1 out. Trout at second, representing that tying run. Breaking ball out towards center field. That ball's hit well. Pollock will have a beat on it. Makes the catch. Trout tags. He'll head to third. And there are 2 outs for Matt Joyce.
Well, he just missed that one.
David Hernandez getting ready. Face the Angels in Monday's contest.
Houston here, not quite the shift on here for Joyce at the plate.
1 for 2. Infield base at his last time. Takes low. That's 1 ball, no strikes. Interesting that they don't shift on him.
He didn't exactly square that baseball. It was off the end of the bat. He did a nice job of staying alive in his bat, putting it in play. But now all of a sudden a normal infield defense against Joyce.
1 ball, 1 strike. And they're still pitching him the same way. Down the way, little sinkers. And that's the pitch he hit to that shortstop side.
And if you keep throwing something, he's throwing an all-speed pitch, a changeup also. You can pull through the hole between first and second.
Three and 1. Giavatella on deck. Halos chipping away. Run in the 5th and a run so far here in the 6th. The tying run 90 feet away.
Would not be surprised if he threw another changeup.
And he walked him.
He threw another changeup. Open base.
First walk of the game for Anderson. Here comes Harkey. Hernandez ready to go in the bullpen. But, they want to get Anderson here to try to finish off the 6th inning.
He's got 89 pitches thrown, 18 so far here in the 6th. Back in the 4th through 20 pitches. In that you can almost see what Harkey's trying to tell him, is not go away from your fastball. He certainly went away from his fastball in that at bat against Matt Joyce. Castillo going through the signs too about what they're going to do in case at some point during this at bat that Joyce would go. Would the throw be through the 2nd, or just a fake throw and then throw towards 3rd?
Giavatella 1 for 2 game. He's on the error in the 3rd inning and singled in the 5th.
He's been very good with runners on. Big spot for Johnny Giavatella.
He pulls this one right to Aaron Hill, and the Angels will leave the tying run at third. They get one. Head to the bottom of the sixth inning, 3-2 Diamondbacks. Hector Santiago back out on the mound. You can follow the Angels all season long with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Hit MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet today. Tons of Angel fans here today, just over 28,000 for game one of this two-game series. Well represented. Chris Owings has struck out twice tonight. Hector Santiago has 9 punch-outs, season high for him. He struck out the last 4. His career high for consecutive strikeouts is 5. Did that twice last year, July 10th and August 27th. One. That is driven out to left field. Joy's back. He pulls up. That's a one-hopper off the fence. Owings on his way to second. It's a leadoff double as the throw goes to second base. Ibar was lined up toward third. So it's the 10th double of the season for Owings. Leadoff man in scoring position. So she's going to go to the bullpen. That's the last batter that Hector will face. He'll depart here, trailing it 3-2 with a man at second base. all-new 2015 Subaru Forester, or go to Subaru.com to learn more. By Keck Medicine of USC, beyond exceptional medicine. And by Bud Light. Stay in the game and drink responsibly. Handlers trailing 3-2 after a leadoff double allowed to Chris Owings. Hector Santiago lifted from the game. And Mike Scioscia brings in Cam Bedrosian. Turn in and out, who's in, who's out. Cam will come on with a man at second base with nobody out here to face Wellington Castillo. Bedrosian, 12th game. No record of .438 ERA, 12 in the third innings, 15 hits, 9 strikeouts, 9 walks, however.
Man, that fastball important for Cam, and also bearing your look back at second. Owens with 7 stolen bases. We've seen already in these 3 games against the Diamondbacks, they're aggressive running, especially trying to steal third base. So you got to make him stop and bear your look back at second. Solid effort from Hector tonight. 9 punch-outs.
And Castillo lines to the right field. It's a single on the first pitch. Cole comes up firing. Owens is held at third. So Arizona with first 2 on base here. And Ahmed coming to the plate.
Stayed back well on that curveball. Hits it in the right field. His thought process through that at bat there was to hit the ball to that side of the field. He got a curveball that he could track.
Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, a walk and a fly ball to center. And Ahmed will look at a strike. Cliff Pennington has grabbed a bat. He'll be batting for the pitcher. A lot of meetings tonight on the mound, both sides. Handlers with 2 runs on 7 hits have stranded 5. Arizona 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. They've left 5 on base as well. Chris Owings standing at third base. Wellington Castillo at first. Showing bunt, takes low. There's a strike, 1-2. Cam last pitched on Sunday, and it was a rough one for him. Gave up 3 runs, 2 earned, in 1/3 of an inning. 1 hit, 1 strikeout in that outing against the Athletics. Now the infield, middle infielders come in halfway. 1-2. Called strike 3, got him looking. 1 down. I thought that pitch was in off the plate, and it may have been.
So look where that pitch was according to our Fox tracks. It's just off the inside corner. Jim Wolf brings him up.
Credit Chris Iannetta on that last pitch. It's so easy as a catcher to see that pitch starting to move in on a right-handed batter and turn that glove clockwise and take that pitch out of the strike zone. But he went counterclockwise, and whether or not to strike, it looked good enough and close enough for Jim Wolf to ring it up. Socia out to have a conversation here.
Went out quickly. That's more of a defensive conversation, I think, right now. Just in case a play is being put on. Potentially if there's going to be some kind of a squeeze or safety squeeze put on.
Go back to that last
The way he
pitch.
set up his glove, that allowed, because he kept the glove there, it allowed Jim Wolf to see that pitch and had a chance to catch the corner, especially crossing the plate first. Well done by Iannetta.
Cliff Pennington, the pinch hitter. Fired to third.
And you have to throw to third now. Before you used to have that fake throw to third, then over the first.
One of your favorite plays of all time.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Pennington, a 178 batting average in 41 games this year with Arizona. A switch hitter. He's 1 for 11 as a pinch hitter. It takes low. He got into the game the bottom of the first on Monday when Ender Inciarte pulled his right hamstring. Pennington eventually got a couple of hits in that game. Also picked up an RBI. 7-3 Diamondbacks win. Infielder by trade, but he played left field on Monday.
First time in the majors.
Down and in. A pickoff. Owings was coming down the line, so somebody messed up the sign. 2 outs. Pennington did not show anything as far as a bunt, so I'm not sure where Owings was going. The Angels will take it.
Yeah, he's drifting down the line. He's anticipating at the very least a safety squeeze being put on, but nothing. No attempt.
Somebody,
Pennington.
whether it's him or Pennington, missed that sign. Wellington Castillo ends up at second on the fielder's choice.
Nice job on that rundown. Also get it done quickly.
2 outs. 2 balls and no strikes on Pennington. This is pulled to first. Albert's got it. And the Angels will get out of it with no damage. 6 complete here in Arizona. 3-2 Diamondbacks. Insurance, on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com to get a fast, free quote and see how much you can save. And by Hyundai. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. Arizona top 3-2 as we start the 7th here at Chase Field. David Hernandez on the mound, taking over for Chase Anderson. Vincent Hernandez pitched in Monday's game. He's an inning and 2/3 this year.
He's got a good power fastball, 93-97, curveball.
He'll face Iannetta, the pitcher spot, and then Ibar. After Navarro's come out to the on-deck circles, he would bat for Cam Bedrosian.
Think about the Diamondbacks. They've held, one of the highest percentages as far as losses, lost games in which they've had leads this season. There are 33 losses. They've had leads in 17 of them. So they've blown a lot of games late.
Iannetta ahead of the count at 2 balls and no strikes. David Hernandez installed last season, recovering from Tommy John surgery. Iannetta lines one into center field. It's a leadoff single. So that is the 3rd consecutive inning in which the Angels have had their leadoff man reach. The last 2 they've scored.
Go back to Hyundai Key for this game today. A lot of leaving left to do. We've had some hits together. Now looking for that long ball. It's been a while looking for the home run ball, but a great swing right there from Chris Iannetta, using that middle of the field in a line drive base hit for Chris.
Yep. After Navarro pinch hitting here for the pitcher's spot. 10 for 37. That's a .270 batting average. And he fouls that one back.
He's on that fastball.
Yeah, he was.
And just watching his batting practice session today, he was hitting a lot of baseballs on the line to left center field.
Navarro shoots one foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Saw some action over the weekend. Some left field and some first base. A couple of hits. And that is driven out toward right center field. That ball's hit well on a ton. One hopper off the fence, and it goes over for a double.
Unfortunately, that went over the fence. Not for the fan, though. I think Chris Iannetta is going to score on that baseball. That ball was crushed. They said he had a great batting practice session today. Everything he hit was on the line, and that was certainly right on the line. Boy, a fastball just crushed it. Right center field. One hops the wall and then over the wall.
One of the deeper parts of the ballpark. It's 413 just to the left of that.
And he's being sent home, Chris Iannetta. If that ball didn't hit the top of the wall and go over, we got a tie game.
Second double of the year for Efren. Eric Ibar at the plate, and now another meeting.
I mentioned the fact is Arizona with 33 losses this year. 17 times they had leads. They're in jeopardy of losing this lead once again. Boy, a lot of conversations, long conversations. Think about Hernandez, he overthrows his curveball too. So if you're Chris Iannetta, you got to see where that pitch would be in the dirt. If it gets away from Castillo, you can score. The infield going to play back this Hill at third base in on the corner.
Ibar 0 for 3.
See if he can get back to that level swing. He's been getting a lot of pitches and uppercutting it and popping it up.
Shows bunt, pops up the bunt. Hernandez makes the catch, 1 out. Eric's struggles continue. 0 for 4. That's the first down here in the 7th.
And a breaking ball. Almost a collision. Third base pitcher and catcher all coming in at the same time.
That's going to be it for Hernandez. Chip Hale is going to go matchup game again. Cole Calhoun due up. Got ourselves a pitching change here in the 7th inning. Hale is with 2 runners at second and third, down by a run. Hale goes to the bullpen. Oliver Perez on in relief. 30th game, a 1-1 mark, a 5 ERA, 18 innings, 21 strikeouts, 7 walks. He pitched 2 nights ago. He gave up 2 runs, both unearned runs, but only faced 2 batters.
And he has that deceptive delivery. I'll give you a couple different deliveries during the course of the bat. Fastballs 87-93, slider, changeup.
Perez in his 2nd season with the Diamondbacks.
Lefties are hitting 222 against them. Righty's 297. So he's basically here for the one batter here. Cole's done well in his career versus left-handed pitching.
Cole hits one out to center field. Not very deep. Pollock comes racing in. Iannetta, the base runner at third, is not going anywhere. 2 outs. So the Diamondbacks have gotten 2 outs on 2 pitches. And Trout coming up now. Mike doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3.
Castillo looking into the dugout. Perez looking in to the dugout.
And here comes Chip Hale. Still no decision yet by Hale.
Now the decision.
It's another pitching change. 2 outs here, the 7th. Still 3-2 Arizona. started with a single by Chris Inett. The double A for Navarro, putting runners at second and third. But Eric Ibar tried to bunt his way on one pitch against Hernandez. Popped out. Cole Calhoun against Oliver Perez. One pitch, fly ball to shallow center. Now it's Daniel Hudson on in relief. 24th game, a 1-2 mark, a 3.41 earned run average. A former starter after having a couple of Tommy John surgeries, one in 2012, one in 2013, and so he's used out of the pen.
Yeah, he was a very good starter. As you can see, 16-game winner back in 2011. Fastball firm, 93, 98. Slider, changeup, good changeup. 3 wild pitches in 29 innings pitched. Starting him off with a changeup.
You've seen a couple of those tonight. 1 for 3 game.
Boy, his last at bat, he did a nice job as far as staying back and hitting a double down the right field line.
0-1 pitch. Lifted down the line, foul, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes.
Now way ahead of the count. This is a time where the pitcher might try to bounce a breaking ball. And if you're Iannetta, you got to read that one in the dirt. With a good secondary lead at third base.
Upstairs.
7.
One, 2. Ground ball to third. Aaron Hill has it. Across the diamond, and a golden opportunity presents itself for the Angels, and they do not capitalize. We head to the 7th inning stretch. 3-2 Arizona. Look at the Major League Baseball scoreboard. Houston leading Colorado 6-2. That game's in the 7th. Oakland leading San Diego 5-1. Seattle 2-0 over San Francisco. Texas leading the Dodgers 4-2. That's Kershaw on the mound. Cubs, well, they must have inherited the Orioles bats from yesterday, where the Orioles scored 19 runs against the Phillies. 17-0. That's an exclamation point. In Toronto.
Did the Phillies use 3 position players to pitch yesterday?
I think Frank Core was one of them.
Yeah.
Good old Frenchie. He's on our Frenchie.
Yeah, no.
There's only one of those.
There's only one Frenchie. Our Frenchie.
New pitcher on for the Halos as we start the bottom of the 7th. Trevor Gott, rookie right-hander, came over in the Houston Street deal last season, I should say. Will take over. Second appearance for him. He had a 1-2-3 major league debut. And that was on Sunday, including his first big league strikeout. Top of the order, Pollock, Peralta, Goldschmidt. Says something about what Mike Scioscia thinks of Trevor Gott. To put him in this situation, 1-run game with the top of the order up. Two balls and no strikes.
And what we talked about for the most part of the bullpen this year for the Angels, a lot of guys that spot fastballs, good off speed, but the last 2 with Bedrosian and now Gott, power arms out of the bullpen.
That fastball way outside. 3-0. Strike 3-1. Got 22 years of age, native of Lexington, Kentucky. A product of the University of Kentucky. 6th-round pick by the Padres at 13. He got traded over with Houston Street. 3-1. Broken bat, little flare to Pujols, makes a diving catch, 1 out.
Tell you what, Gott has some late action on his fastball. That's a fastball count, and he jammed them. And Albert, nice play on that one. The dive and catch before the ball hits the dirt. Running action. Almost on the handle of the bat.
I don't remember the early days of Scott Shields, but this is this is pretty good fuzz right here with good movement
and same numbers.
Same number.
Yeah, he's got some good movement.
Shieldsy, however, was the rubber band man. He pitch every day.
Every day. Sometimes a couple innings every day.
One ball, one strike on Peralta. The left fielder 1 for 3.
He of the no seam fastball, Scott Shields.
Two balls and 1 strike. Met Trevor's parents yesterday after the game. They were hanging out in the family area before the Angels got on the bus to head to LAX. They just thrilled. Love when the parents are up there for the first time.
That is amazing. Just the smile on their face.
Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Look at that fastball again. That's at 97 with that movement. A lot of times when we talk fastballs, 96, 97, 98, you know, if they're straight, hitters can still hit them. But that fastball with that type of movement is outstanding.
Down goes Peralta, 2 outs.
And you can almost see where this baseball starts. Starts middle part of the plate, then runs up and away. Love to be able to see that spin rotation in that fastball there. Talked about it the other day with Garrett Richards. Some of the best spin rotation of any fastball in the game.
Goldschmidt hits one out to right, and it's a base hit. 2 out single.
This time looking in. Inside out approach at 97 miles an hour for Goldschmidt. So that's the reason why you're hitting 361 coming into the game. You make adjustments. looked like that's the approach he was going to take after being pitched inside a lot the next 2 at-bats. You got to keep an eye on him. He may try to steal a base. He's stolen 10, but caught 4 times. This is a shot where you might try it with 2 outs.
Pretty good movement over to Albert.
Albert might ask for a catcher's mitt over there at first base, but he's thrown over to him.
First big league hit allowed by Guy. Not a bad guy to give it up to, I guess. Goldschmidt. Legit.
Yep.
Yasmani Tomas, the right fielder's 2 for 3 with a single, a triple, and an RBI. Struck out his last time up. Late on the fastball. Hector Santiago tonight went 5 innings plus 1 batter, gave up 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 of which were home runs. 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. Bedrosian 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, and now Gott here in the 7th. That's a single out to right. Slow little breaking ball up in the zone. So back-to-back 2-out hits.
Yeah, he sped up his bat on that breaking ball, especially elevated. Just flicked that in the right field.
So Aaron Hill with an opportunity here with 2 outs. Starter at third base tonight has walked, grounded out, and struck out. Aaron Hill, longtime Toronto Blue Jay. 4th season now with the Diamondbacks. Once upon a time had 36 home runs and 108 runs batted in for Toronto. That was in 09. Fouls this one back. Goldschmidt at second and Tomas at first. Way outside. Overthrown breaking ball.
Yeah, that's more of a product of the last time he threw a breaking ball to Tomas. He got it out over the plate. This time he muscled up on this one. A lot of break on it. You're not giving a hitter a chance even to make an attempt at that far off the corner to start with.
Trevor started the season at Double-A, got bumped up to Triple-A, and now to the big leagues. Second appearance, trying to keep it a 1-run deficit for the Angels. The 8th inning, the Angels have Pujols, Freese, and Joyce coming up. Looks like at least what we've seen here this inning, a little bit of a tendency, and perhaps because of the hit to Tomas. From our vantage point, he's slowed down a little bit on that breaking ball.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's clearly his fastball's his best pitch with great movement. But he needing that slider to be effective for him. He's not having the same arm slot.
Fastball lifted out to right. Playable for Cole. So we head to the 8th. Halos down 3-2.
As we head into the 8th inning, and make sure you stick around after the game for Angels Live. I'm Alex Curry. Come hang out with Jose Mota and myself as we'll get some reaction from Mike Scioscia and take a look at Hector Santiago's outing, getting a career or a season high 9 strikeouts. He also gave up a couple home runs, but got a base hit. Now 2 for 11 in his career. He invited us over to his home this morning and actually showed us the baseball bat and ball he has framed from his very first career hit. It was actually on Chris Ionetta's, along with 150 signed jerseys. Now all he needs is a Mark Gubicza signed jersey to complete the collection, Gooby.
Oh, that's all he needs. Then the collection's not worth anything anymore.
Here at the top of the 8th inning, Pujols, Freese, and Joyce. Down 3-2. Albert 1 for 3. Single in the 4th inning, had an RBI ground out in the 6th. Now with 37 runs batted in.
Shift on him now for Pujols with no one on.
First pitch slider.
Ahmed made a real nice play on Pujols to prevent Albert from getting his second hit. Deep in that outfield grass in left field, a strong throw across the diamond just got him out at first.
1 ball, 1 strike. Last full season for Hudson was in 2011. 33 starts, 16-12 mark, and a 3.49 ERA. Originally in the White Sox system, 5th round pick, 2008. And Old Dominion. Why'd you look at me like that? 2 balls and a strike.
Remember that well. That's back east. He's one of the first letters I ever got as far as going to a school potentially to play baseball. Old Dominion.
Got traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for pitcher Edwin Jackson. Edwin Jackson's been traded for a lot of pretty good players.
Yes, he has.
It seems.
And he's still young, too.
Yeah. A good rip.
He was on that one. That'll make you think about not throwing a fastball after a swing like that. Gonna come with a changeup now.
Ran it in.
Tell you what we've seen from the Diamondbacks pitchers, especially the right-handed pitchers, all of them have plus changeups. And comfortable throwing at any point in the count. He's going to try to go inside with a fastball.
Flared out to right. Tomas comes in. 1 out. Ran that fastball up and in.
We're frustrated. He had a couple good swings in that sequence. That one is just a tough fastball to catch up to, especially when it's upstairs.
David Freese an 0 for 3 night. Still rushing up there, even with the 2 Tommy John surgeries. Talk about how difficult that is to mentally to come back from one, let alone a second. Jared Parker's got to do it now.
Yeah,
Chris Capuano.
There hasn't been many.
Did Chris have 3?
I know he had at least 2.
Former Diamondback himself at a Duke.
See if he follows up with a fastball in. If there's changeup, he'll try to run a fastball in. That's what he did to Pujols.
Capuano on 2. Still with the Yankees.
He's going inside with a fastball.
Two outs.
This fastball up and in again. That one a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Now the shift back on against Joyce.
Fastball on the outside corner. Joyce 1 for 2. A ground down to Goldschmidt. A single with a run scored in the 5th inning and a walk in the 6th.
He throws a really good changeup. Same arm slot. Can't tell the difference as a hitter. Adjusted well to this roll out of the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. Trying to go upstairs again.
Matt gets a piece of it, keep the at-bat alive. Figure the Angels will go to the bullpen once again in the 7th inning. Salas if the score remains the same. Smith if they tied, I would imagine. One, 2 now. Down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The goal right here, obviously, if you get a pitch you can drive out of the ballpark to tie it up, be great for Joyce, but you just want to get on base. You want to get an opportunity to get the top of the order back up at some point in the 9th inning.
That is out to center field, hit well. Pollock chasing it down toward the warning track at center, reaches up and he can't get it. It goes off his glove. Mistimed his leap, bobbles the baseball, and Joyce ends up at 3rd.
That was an odd play.
Almost appeared, Gooby, that he could have made the catch just running.
Yeah, look, he jumped up at the end. He wasn't quite at the wall. Didn't know exactly where he was. Jumps up and looked like the ball popped right out of his glove. And this ball was hit extremely hard by Joyce.
That ball's got to be caught.
Yeah, I mean, if he just stays in stride, he's going to catch it. He jumped up, and it kind of, when you do that as an outfielder, you jump up, it changes your eyes, and you lose focus on the baseball. And you see right there, as soon as he jumps up, his eyes change as he's trying to track the baseball down.
Halos will take it.
Oh, no doubt.
Goes as a hit.
Triple first of the year for Joyce.
Yeah. And now Johnny Giavitello with an opportunity to tie this one up. Johnny lined down in the 6th inning. Third out. Tying run at second. A 1-for-3 game. That is pulled foul. Both teams with 10 hits tonight. Well, you would think with the pace of this game at 20 hits combined, we're talking about a 8-7, 9-8 game. It's 3-2 in the 8th. One. Fouled off, and it's 1-2.
Angels 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Arizona 1 for 8. Giavitello has been great this year in these spots late in the game. Big moments.
1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Down it goes. So that 2-out triple stranded at scoring position. We head to the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Arizona. Here early too, batting practice, and taking in this game, already a one-time minority owner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was during the Jerry Colangelo days. He got the opportunity to buy the Angels. Now his 13th season.
Hoping and looking for an opportunity in the ninth inning to take the lead and have Houston Street pick up a save.
Fernando Salas pitching in his 30th game, 0-1 and a 4.85 ERA. And things have not been kind to Fernando of late. Pitched Monday, gave up 2 runs in 1 inning. 3 hits, had 1 strikeout, 2 walks. That was the ninth. Trying to keep it a 1-run deficit. Owings, Castillo, and Ahmed 6, 7, and 8. The bunt on the third base side. Freeze was anticipating it. Low throw dug out by Albert. 1 out. Nice play by Pujols.
Boy, that's back-to-back games. Albert has made an unbelievable play on a throw from a third baseman. We showed it in the opening day with Kmitza with his low throw and the stretch. Nice play by Freeze. A low throw, but a great scoop. That's a difficult scoop. That one hop throw to first base, especially that short hop that Albert pulls, but did it well.
Wellington Castillo with a 2-hit game. Homered in the 4th, singled in the 6th.
Now it's time for In the Driver's Seat, brought to you by Kia Speak and Steel. He's had himself a big game. 2 for 3 on solo home run and a single. Home run in the 4th inning gave Arizona at that point a 3-0 lead.
One pitch that is lifted down the right field line. Cole moving over. Two outs. Looking ahead to the Angels' 9th. Halos have 8, 9, and 1 due up. Iannetta, the pitcher spot, and then Ibar. Ahmed 0 for 2 with a walk, a fly ball to center, and a strikeout. Pulls this one foul. One ball, 1 strike. 2 outs here in the 8th. Swing and a miss. High fastball. Brett Ziegler getting ready. The Diamondbacks bullpen. Down it in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Eight saves on the season. Full count. Dorn has come out to the on deck circle. Pitcher spot. That is a called strike. 3 down goes a bat. A 1-2-3-8. We head to the 9th inning. Halos down a run. 2. They have 8, 9, and 1 coming up, and it's Brad Ziegler on a relief. Former Oakland Athletic, closing games this season for Arizona. His 8 saves on the year. This will be his 30th game. 0-1 record at 1.61 ERA. 28 innings, 18 hits, 14 strikeouts, and 8 walks.
Yeah, certainly not overpowering with his fastball. He sinks it very well. It's around 81 to 86 range on his fastball. Good slider, solid changeup.
Chris Iannetta. Kyle Kibitz has come out to the on-deck circle. He bat in the pitcher spot. And then Eric Ibar. Iannetta 1 for 3 games, singled up the middle of the 7th. This one's pulled foul down the line. 7th inning, Angels would love to have back. Single and a double, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. And then Ibar, Calhoun, and Trout
in the top of your order up.
Yep.
Exactly what Mike Scioscia wanted.
3 straight outs. This is up the middle. 2nd hit of the night for Chris Iannetta. It's a tying run on board. Either Mike pinch runs here.
And both swings in a row for Iannetta. Right hard back up the middle.
And he does. Iannetta heads off. Taylor Featherston takes over. And Kyle Kibitz at the bat. Kibitz is 6 for 19. 1 RBI. This was fouled off the left. Kyle got the start at third base in the last couple of games. 2-hit game yesterday, going 2 for 3. Got 3 hits against Arizona. Ball on a strike.
Defense in the outfield playing extremely deep. No doubles defense.
Good lead for Featherston. They'll check in on him. Two stolen bases for Taylor. He's been caught once. Arizona with solo runs in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th. The Angels with solo runs the 5th and 6th. Did not go. So says Doug Eddings. 2 balls and a strike.
Let's see if he did go. No. Did a nice job of holding up on the swing.
Apparently the operator on the video board out in center thought he went around. Just now changed it. Ibar on deck. Calhoun after that. Bouncing towards second. Owens feeds him in for 1. The relay back to first in time. Boy. 3rd double play turned by the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Nick Ahmed again. A quick release and arm.
And it doesn't take long to get rid of the baseball at all. Owens, the perfect feed, quickly gets out of the way, even with a hard slide by Featherston. Still that strong arm he has. He's completing a 4-6-3 double play.
Well, the Angels down to the last out here. Eric Ibar will bat. Eric an 0 for 4 game. It's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ziegler is a ground ball machine. He believe was in 2008, 94 ground ball double plays behind him.
One and 2.
You can see Eric trying to find his swing. He chased that pitch well out of the strike zone. It was never really close for him.
Down and away. Ziegler trying to get him to chase it. Evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, if Eric can get up on board somehow. Cole, 1 shot. Ibar reaching for this one, grounds with Owens. And the Angels drop this one by the final of 3-2. And although no Angels home runs were hit this game, the Home Run Challenge continues through Father's Day. Make your pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. The opportunities presented themselves specifically in the 7th inning.
Yeah, especially when you had 2 really good swings by Chris Iannetta and Efren Navarro. You think with the top of the order up, it's going to be a lot to at least get one of those in. Credit. The Diamondbacks had 3 pitchers that get through that in. They got through, and Hudson did a nice job for him. And then Ziegler finishes off. Goldschmidt, this is a special player, home run. Castillo with a home run himself as the Diamondbacks win this one. Another close game for the Angels, 3-2.
Chase Anderson picks up the win, and Hector Santiago takes the loss. Brett Ziegler with his 9th save of the season. 3-2 the final once again. Stick around. Angels Live postgame will break it all down. That's coming up next.